Hey, I'm Damian Vargas here in LA, and welcome to When Dudes Met Film. With me, as always, and will always be, Josh Locklair from Atlanta. How's it going, Josh?
It's going well out in the ATL. It's a little warm, but it's hot Atlanta as always.
Hot Atlanta indeed. So, Josh, uh, with this new concept of ours of when dudes met film, I have my question, which I always like talking about, with regards to film, is what was your first memory of going to the movies as a kid? Like, what was the first film you remember seeing and going, wow, like, I love film. Like, this is what I want my life to be about, in a way.
That's a very easy answer. My dad took me to go see Raiders of the Lost Ark when I was 7. We went to the Mark II theater in Aiken, South Carolina, which is my hometown. Unfortunately, that theater is no longer there, but there is the Aiken Playhouse sits on that site now. But
Beautiful.
it was the Mark II was actually the Mark Theater back then, and they had not twinned the theater, so it still had a very large screen. And we probably sat 8 or 10 rows back from the screen, and I was just blown away with the power of the images and all the mise en scène. I didn't know what that was when I was 7 years old, but
Naturally.
but that was the first time that I saw a movie, and I wondered how it all came together and what the job of a director is. And from that point forward, I've always appreciated films in a different light.
Wow. See, Raiders of the Lost Ark was a big factor in my childhood as well, because it's not the first memory I have of going to the movies, but it is the movie I have seen most in the theaters. During
Didn't know
that
that.
summer, during that summer, I asked my dad to take me to go see Raiders of the Lost Ark probably every other day during the summer, because he worked at a university, so he didn't really have summers off, but it was a lighter schedule. He was able to take time off, and
Yep.
he took me to see it basically whenever I asked. I want to go see Raiders of the Lost Ark, and back then, as you know, films stayed in theaters forever. They weren't
Yep.
out in like a week if it didn't do well.
And it
Um,
might cost you a couple of dollars to go, if
yeah,
that. So
exactly. But my dad didn't care because he loved it, and he saw that I loved it. So anytime I wanted to go, he would go. He would bring me, and coincidentally, being from LA and the how close in proximity I am to some great theaters, I saw the majority of those screenings at the world famous Cinerama Dome in
that's
Hollywood.
that's awesome.
So I probably saw Indiana Jones 20 plus times in the theaters. I would say 15 of those times were probably at the Cinerama Dome. Always sitting in the same spot, balcony, first row center.
That's amazing.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I couldn't believe how lucky I was. I mean, I didn't know then, but I thought the theater was cool. That's pretty much all I thought. But now, looking back, I was like, wow, I saw one of the greatest movies of all time in one of the greatest theaters of all time. That many times.
Yeah, and there's only 3 of the Cinerama Domes still left in existence. The one in Los Angeles that is now owned by ArcLight, and then the one in Seattle, which is owned by Paul Allen,
Yes.
and then there's one in London that's still in existence as well. So
Yes. And let's stress that that's not Paul Allen from American Psycho.
correct, correct. He is the former business partner of Bill Gates. So
Yes. Well, that helps being in Seattle.
yeah, I think he and Bill own most of Seattle as a result. So
That's a fair assessment, I would say.
yeah,
Between that and
really,
Amazon, Amazon owns the other half.
yeah, that's true. I shouldn't forget about Amazon for
No,
sure.
they're literally taking over all of Washington. But that's another story. That's another story.
So
And,
were
and
there so there were there any other movies in the '80s that really kind of stirred your imagination and got your motor running?
well, first I'll answer my own question, I'll say. But my first memory of going to the movies was Superman the movie. And it was seen at the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood, and I remember seeing it with my dad. I definitely fell asleep during the middle of it at some point. He did wake me up in the end to see the end. And I remember when Superman flies off and he kind of looks at the camera and smiles and then flies off in space at the very end. Like, I just felt like that dude smiling at me. And my dad told me he was smiling at me, so I believed it, you know. But that was my very first memory. So my dad was a great lover of film, and that's basically where my love came from. And because he didn't just go to like the local Cineplex to watch a movie. I mean, we did, but if it was like a good movie or what he felt was going to be like a good movie worthy of a good screen in a good theater, then we went to Hollywood. We saw it at the Chinese, or we saw it at the Egyptian, or we go to Westwood and see it at the Mann Village, or the Mann National at the time, where the National is no longer there, sadly. But the Mann Village is still there, and a lot of movies have their premiere there in Westwood. But Superman the movie was my first real memory. I was only like 3 going on 4, but I vividly remember it because it was so mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, the very first movie, I shouldn't have interrupted, I'm sorry, but the very first movie I saw was The Rescuers.
Ooh, really?
And yeah, it was back in 77. That ages me a little bit, but I was terrified when I saw that movie. I thought it was really scary. and the teacher that took me, who was a coworker of my mother's, said I cried through part of the movie because I was scared. Yeah, but I was really young. So, but she had promised to take me to a movie, and she made good on that. So,
I've definitely cried because I was scared at movies as a kid because I was an only child, and you know, if my parents wanted to go see a movie, like they wouldn't get a babysitter; they would just bring me to the movies, which is why I saw so many movies. Yep. My dad had to see Conan the Barbarian; he had to. So I remember it's one of my earliest movie memories. I remember going to the Chinese theater, watching Conan the Barbarian. The beginning was awesome. I remember falling asleep again because I was a kid, and I guess that was nap time for me. But he did wake me up in the end for like the final battle scenes, and I thought it was cool. Obviously, I knew they didn't look like real life people, and they didn't look like it was like the current time, so I didn't think it was like real per se. But I obviously thought Conan was cool, and I wanted a sword immediately. Practice.
Yeah. Yeah. Conan the Barbarian has one of my favorite German movie titles of all time, Conan der Barbar.
Classic der in there.
Yes, exactly. So what is it that always draws you back to 1980s movies? Since we are both children of the 80s, but I mean, there's so many great movies from the 80s, but especially comedies. If you go back through the box office of the 80s, there's so many movies that are comedies that popped up in the box office of the 1980s. If you take the very first year of the decade, 1980, I would say 4 of the top 5 box office hits from 1980 are comedies. Number 2 was 9 to 5. Number 3 was Stir Crazy. Number 4 was Airplane, and number 5 was Any Which Way You Can, which is kind of a hybrid of a drama and an adventure and a comedy. And of course, number 1 was Empire Strikes Back.
Of course, not a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
one of my favorite comedies of the 80s was Tootsie.
Yes. I thought it was funny. I obviously at the time did not get the social significance of it until much later in life, but I did think it was funny. I'll tell you that. I did think it was funny. I was just like, why is he wearing a dress? Why is he in makeup? He looks funny.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the movie has more relevance now, or has just as much relevance now as it did then.
Very easily, just as much relevance now. Easily.
Especially with Dabney Coleman sexually harassing Dustin Hoffman's character and the Jessica Lange character too. So.
Right. And
But Dabney's funny.
he is funny. And how did it and somehow got typecast as a sexual harassing person of authority with 9 to 5 as well.
Yeah.
Like, how did I feel bad for the guy. But yeah, Dabney Coleman, I don't think there's still anybody like him, really.
Yeah. I would say, and he, of course, he was in 9 to 5, which made $103 million back in 1980. Right. And Tootsie did $177 million in 1982. The top grosser of 82 was E.T. with $359 million, which is the top grosser of any movie of the 1980s.
Yeah. E.T.
If you go to 1984, the top 2 grossing movies of 1984, I'm sure you can guess which ones those were.
Oh, jeez.
They were both comedies.
84.
Don't put a banana in my tailpipe.
Yeah, I was going to say, was Beverly Hills Cop 84? Because I don't know why I thought that was later.
That was number 1 with $234 million, and number 2 should be a pretty obvious choice.
Don't say that. Now I look dumb.
No, who are you going to call?
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. So Ghostbusters followed.
And both of those movies were nominated for Oscars.
Yes, they were.
Do you remember which categories they were nominated for?
No, I don't remember that far back. I definitely don't. I'd have to research that.
Well, Beverly Hills Cop was nominated for original screenplay.
Good, because it was brilliant.
And Ghostbusters was nominated for song.
Oh, yeah. Definitely song. Yeah, I should have known that one, actually.
Yep.
That's my bad. I vividly remember seeing both those films in the theater. Actually, I had a friend, my best friend at the time. My mom took me and my best friend to see Ghostbusters at the Chinese. And I remember laughing a lot and thinking it was really hilarious. But Beverly Hills Cop, I definitely found more funny. I don't know why. I don't know if I got the jokes or not, but Eddie Murphy cracked my shit up. And I remember laughing out loud, literally, and rolling on the floor, laughing in the aisle as a kid during Beverly Hills Cop because it was so funny. And I was only 8 years old at the time. So I definitely got it.
And that was an R, wasn't it?
That was definitely an R-rated movie. That was the highest grossing R-rated movie for a very long time. I believe until The Matrix, I believe. I want to say The Matrix is what topped that.
Yeah, my son is 7, and I continue to get questions about when he's going to see his first R-rated movie. So,
he's questioning.
He is, because he hasn't. He's technically seen one, but he didn't realize it until after the fact. But my father-in-law let him watch a little bit of The Replacements with Keanu Reeves and Gene Hackman. So.
Oh, that's harmless. That's R.
It is an R, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's cussing, but that's harmless R.
Yeah.
There's definitely no nudity in there, and no extreme violence or blood. So Beverly Hills Cop had nudity, extreme violence. It was a great R-rated film.
And it was directed by whom? Do you remember?
By Martin Brust, yes.
That's right.
Who sadly hasn't done much more.
Since? Which movie? Which movie destroyed his career?
That I don't even remember. Probably because it destroyed his career.
Gigli.
He did Gigli, really? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he did.
Wow, that's a damn shame.
Yeah, you can blame Ben Affleck for that, I guess. I don't know.
Nope, I'm not. I don't blame Ben Affleck for anything. I definitely don't. That guy's underrated and gets the shaft. I'm pro Ben Affleck. So
I like him more as a director.
I think he's a great director.
I'm not as big of a fan of him as an actor, but I mean he's a recognizable face. What is your favorite Ben Affleck movie as an actor or as a director?
As a director, I am going to say director's easier. The easy one would be Argo, but it's not.
You gotta love The Town.
I do love The Town.
I
But
mean, just the scene where Pete Postlethwaite is talking about the harm that he's going to do to Ben Affleck's character's family, and he's chopping up flowers with shears.
yeah,
It's such a great scene.
it is a great scene. You know what?
Um,
You know what? I think you might have just sold me on The Town.
it's very good.
It is really good.
And my favorite Ben Affleck performance, and I'm sure you've seen this in a text before, but it's Dazed and Confused.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Classic O'Banion.
Oh, I love Dazed and Confused. There's so many good actors in that movie.
Everyone got their start in Dazed and Confused.
It seems that way. It seems that way.
It really does. There was no star. Nobody was a star then.
No.
Well, my favorite Ben Affleck as an actor? That's tough. That's tough. I don't know if I mean, yeah, that's great, but I think he's done better work since, to be honest with you.
I don't love him in Argo. I think that his work at directing Argo is fine.
Yeah.
I think the editing and the sound editing in Argo is very good. But I think there are other performances in the film that overshadow him.
Yeah. Honestly, I think his best acting performance was Hollywoodland.
Yeah.
Where he played George Reeves.
Yep. I remember that movie.
I think that was his best. And I really enjoyed that film a lot.
So I know you don't have your notes in front of you, but let's circle back to the 1980s for a moment.
Yes, okay.
Do you have a top 5 off the top of your head for 80s films? And it could be comedies, it could be it could be anything.
Wow.
It's so tough.
It is so tough.
Because you're gonna forget, you're gonna leave something out.
I guarantee you I'll leave something out. Like, see, like Beverly Hills Cop, like, it's like the first of its kind. So it's like a straight up action comedy. It's like an action movie that's hilarious.
Yep.
You know, like, do I put that in the comedy category? I don't know.
I think it's a comedy.
So, okay.
I mean, it's one of a handful of movies of comedies that have been nominated for a writing Oscar in the last 30 years. There haven't been many.
Yeah. Yeah.
They used to be nominated more often, but they aren't for whatever reason. So
if I go straight up, if I'm gonna go, I don't think I can't just do top 5 for the decade. That takes a lot of research.
I'd say comedies is.
I can break it down. Yeah, I can break it down by genre.
Do comedies.
If I do comedies, top 5 in no particular order. I would definitely have Beverly Hills Cop in there.
Yep.
Beverly Hills Cop. I would put The First Vacation.
Yeah. Yeah.
The First Vacation. Airplane.
Yep.
How many is that? 3? That's 3.
Beverly Hills Cop, Vacation, and Airplane. Yep.
Beverly Hills Cop, Vacation, Airplane. I would probably put Trading Places in there.
That's another good one as well.
I was huge. Eddie Murphy in the 80s, there was nothing like him. He had no equal.
No, and even as he had he had 2 concert films.
Yes.
That did really well at the box office.
Raw and delirious.
And they were made for practically nothing.
Yeah, they just set up some cameras in a theater. Like, come on. See, that's the thing. Like, do I count those? Because those are obvious. I mean, it's very hard, man.
The concert film is kind of its own subgenre, possibly.
It is. It definitely is. It definitely is. I'm not gonna put that in there. So I'm gonna have Beverly Hills Cop, Trading Places, Vacation, Airplane, and then I'm probably gonna go. I'm gonna go When Harry Met Sally.
Why not?
I'm gonna go When Harry Met Sally.
And why do you like When Harry Met Sally?
It's the only movie about relationships that I can relate to.
Yeah.
And B, I think is just really, I mean, it's borderline perfection of a script.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
It's borderline perfection of a
it's a
script.
phenomenal script. It really is. So
It never gets. It's timeless, to be honest with you.
yeah,
You can watch that 50 years from now, and it's relatable.
yeah.
That's how great that movie is.
I saw it again recently, and I think I started. I think they were still in the car traveling from Chicago to New York, and I just stopped. It stopped me dead in my tracks. Like, well, I haven't seen this movie in a while, so I might as well watch.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. It's funny, since that's what our title is based off of now. When Dudes Met Film.
Yes.
I'll
have what Damian's having, by the way. So.
Exactly. The funny thing is, the last time I watched it with our missing third party. we went to a screening of it. He's missing out, but we digress.
Yeah.
But we saw it we went to a screening and saw it in downtown LA.
Yep.
And like, it was just, it was great. Like, overall it's hilarious, but obviously there's some really heartbreaking moments, and then there's some really heart mending moments, if you will.
I'm heartbroken our friend's not here, because we could have a lot of fun with him, but that's okay.
We could have a lot of fun with him, but that's okay. Again, we digress.
I still think he's going to join us, but
yeah, we'll see. I'm not really counting on it anymore.
No.
Yeah. I mean, if we put this out and, we kind of dare him, then maybe, but
Well, I made a list of all the movies that I thought I'd put on my top 5. Yes. And the list took up an entire more than an entire page.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, I definitely could have done the same thing.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I would say in no particular order. And one of them I'm not really sure about, just because it's part science fiction.
Okay. Wait,
but
I gotta think about that.
Yeah,
fiction. And this is a comedy.
It is. It could be considered a comedy, yes.
Okay.
And we can debate that one. I'll save that one for last.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to go with Tootsie.
Okay.
A Fish Called Wanda.
I know that movie well.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Okay.
Raising Arizona.
Oh. Yes. Okay.
And then Back to the Future.
Okay. Yeah. Back to the Future.
It's got a couple of different genres. I mean, it's got
definitely.
It's got comedy going for sure.
I'm pretty sure it would be in the science fiction category, though.
Yeah.
Just because of time travel.
True. I think if I had to go to a fallback, it would be Local Hero or Midnight Run. And Midnight Run is probably more of a buddy movie.
Sure,
more of a
it's
road
still a
movie
comedy.
But it is still a comedy. And it is also by Martin Brest. So
right.
And it's easily one of I think it's one of Robert De Niro's best performances.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's a comedic performance.
Oh, yeah. That people really weren't expecting at the time. Or probably didn't think he could do at the time, maybe. And
it's got one of the few really great Dennis Farina performances.
Dennis Farina. We miss you. We miss you, Dennis.
I know. And of course, Charles Grodin. Yeah.
Which arguably could be one of his best performances ever.
I would agree. I mean, but there's so many good, and I'll read off a few more movies from this list.
Okay.
I'm not going to read off everything because I don't want to.
No, that would
I'd like to talk about a few of them.
Yes.
Fletch,
yes.
Caddyshack.
Mm-hmm.
Good Morning Vietnam.
Yes.
This is Spinal Tap. 16 Candles, which I really, really love. I feel like the writing is so good in that movie.
It is.
Better Off Dead.
Okay.
Lost in America. Bull Durham.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See,
I know. There's so many good ones. The Breakfast Club.
Yeah. And I don't even know if I would even call that a comedy, even though it is put
The
in
Breakfast
the comedy.
Club.
Yeah.
Breakfast Club is probably more, and Ferris Bueller the same. I mean, the John Hughes genre, if you will, is a hybrid of comedy, romance, and coming of age.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all. I mean, I know
there's dramatic themes in all of them.
Yes, there are.
Very dramatic.
But I feel like he excelled at. I mean, he wrote all of those scripts so fast. I mean, he was known for meeting a studio executive on a Monday or a Tuesday, and then he'd come back the next week with a finished script. It wasn't necessarily polished.
Right.
He would literally just churn through them.
Right.
And then of course there's Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. Probably unintentional. Well, I don't know if it's unintentionally funny anymore. I think back then people thought it was unintentionally funny.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, people probably were expecting it to be badass, and then it's like Kurt Russell is so perfect in playing a buffoon who's trying to be badass. People just found it funny. And I think people went into that movie believing he was supposed to be badass.
Yeah.
Big Trouble's on a whole other level for me, by the way.
It is. I know. That's why I bring it up. I know that's one of your favorites.
Yeah. I fucking love that movie.
I would say that's a guilty pleasure for you. A guilty pleasure for me from the 80s is a movie called Real Genius with Val Kilmer. And more so, I love the music in that movie.
Let's not even get started on music in the 80s.
I
especially in movies.
Well, the film score on that film was Thomas Newman.
Okay, I don't recall that. I mean,
and then of course there is a movie that is the basis on one of your professional friendships, Spies Like Us.
Yes. Spies Like Us would be in my top 10 easily.
Yeah,
it's brilliant. It's even relatable now, I think.
it's relatable. It's relatable in many ways.
Yes, very, very much so. Very much so.
But I'd like to go back to Raising Arizona for a moment because the Coen brothers had a movie that came out before that, Blood Simple, which is arguably one of their really. I mean, they've had so many good movies, but I feel like that's probably one of the best debuts of any filmmaker. They totally shift gears, and they come out with this comedy about a couple who can't have a child, and they steal a child from a well-to-do family.
Right.
And I mean, those two movies couldn't be more different. I mean, they're both crime films. The Coens really excel at making crime films.
They do. And yet you always sympathize with it's not like they're good people.
No.
You know, they're bad people.
They're anti-heroes. So.
Right. But like the most like lovable, relatable anti-heroes. Like you want to love the McDonoughs.
Yeah,
you feel for them, you know? It's like, why can't they just have that, you know? Yeah, they got too many to handle, like she says. They got more than they can handle. Like, why can't they, you know? Why can't they take one off their hands? But I remember seeing it as a kid, and, you know, I was like probably imitating Nicolas Cage and Holly Hunter and John Goodman and William Forsythe. I imitated them for weeks after that. Weeks. And I remember saying to my parents, you know, why is it a big deal? Like, why can't they just like, you know, why won't they just give him a baby? You know, I didn't understand the concept at the time, obviously.
Well, what was the name of the actor who plays Nathan Arizona? I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. But you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, no, great. Yeah, he's a great character actor, and I can't think of his name.
And he died not long after that movie came out as well. But I feel like that movie succeeds.
I remember him in Twins. He did Twins, which was like maybe 2 or 3 years after that.
Yep. But I feel like that movie.
I'm looking him up. I'm looking him up.
I feel like Raising Arizona succeeds with its casting, but also it has this furious energy to it. I mean, a lot of it is due to the way that Barry Sonnenfeld shoots the film for them,
Yes.
but also the way it's cut together.
Yes.
Which the Coens are their own editors.
Yes.
And and of course the music. I forget who does the music for the film. I might have to look that up as well. But
I can look that up. I'm on it. I'm on the greatest website of all time. So
IMDb.com.
There you go. Kudos. IMDb. How about that sponsor? Thanks. All right. Trey Wilson, the great Trey Wilson.
Yeah. And who did the music?
Oh, hold on. I was clicking on Trey Wilson's name. Where are we? Here we go. Composer Carter Burwell.
Oh yeah, he does a lot of their movies.
Carter Burwell. Yep. He did Fargo. He did Fargo, 3 Billboards.
Oh, that's right. He did do 3 Billboards. I think he was nominated for 3 Billboards as well.
Yes. He did the True Grit remake.
Yep.
Carol.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that score is radically different from a lot of his other stuff because most of the scores that he does for the Coen films are a little more moody. They're not as playful, but no,
definitely Raising Arizona's score is way more playful. Way more.
Yeah.
Trey Wilson, also the manager in Bull Durham.
Yes, he was.
So, yeah, Beetroot McKinley. Beetroot was his name in Twins. Beetroot McKinley. Great as a manager in Bull Durham. Perfect baseball manager. Like Ron Shelton
he's
couldn't have casted
cast.
that. Yeah, Ron Shelton couldn't have casted that perfectly. And I think he is perfectly cast. He's a very unique look, a very unique voice.
Yeah.
You know, he just plays that part and he plays it well.
Well, I feel like Bull Durham really excels because what's his name? The director,
Ron Shelton.
Ron Shelton, thank you. He spent time as a minor league ball player.
Right, he lived the life. He knows.
Lived the life. So the story has a lot of texture to it. It feels so authentic.
Yeah.
And they shot a lot of that movie in and around the old Durham Bulls Stadium, and I think we talked about this before, but the Durham Bulls became so popular as a result of that film.
Right.
And minor league baseball on top of that, but the Durham Bulls specifically became so popular that they outgrew the stadium that they shot that movie in. They had to build another stadium.
Right. Right, they did. So I'd like to go to that one day. At least they did bring the bull along. So
yeah, and
you can't not bring the bull along.
And the old Bulls Stadium is still in existence. I believe a local college uses it in Durham, not Duke. Yeah,
okay.
But it's still being used. It's an old stadium. It dates back to like the 20s or the 30s, I want to say.
Yeah, yeah.
And the new stadium they have was built in the 90s. So.
Yes, I do recall that.
But if you go back through a lot of these 80s comedies and the ones that we like so much, a lot of them are populated by anti-heroes. Okay. Don't you think? I mean, would you say that Axl Rose is an anti-hero? Or not Axl Rose, but
Axel Foley?
Axel Foley. Axl Rose is a different 80s icon.
That's a different 80s icon indeed.
Yeah, but Axel Foley is, would you say he's an anti-hero?
I don't know if I'd say he's an anti-hero. He definitely plays by his own rules in that sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would call him an anti-hero.
Okay.
So he just, disobeys his boss. Other than that, he's pretty much a good guy, in my opinion. And someone you want, on your team backing you up.
But wouldn't you say that an anti-hero by definition doesn't play by the rules?
Yes, but I don't think Axel Foley as a character is like, so to me, being more an anti-hero is like it's like borderline vigilantes in a sense. Like, I don't know why I get that. For me, that's where that goes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like an anti-hero, isn't like technically like definitely does things you don't agree with. You know, Axel Foley doesn't do anything I don't agree with. Like, if he disobeys his boss, like, he's doing it for the greater good. He's doing it because he knows it's the right thing to do. When someone I feel is an anti-hero, it's like you're not supposed to like him because he does do bad things. Right. Even if it's for the greater good, he does still do bad things. You know what I mean?
I just looked up the definition of an anti-hero just because I wanted to confirm or deny what I'm trying to say. But an anti-hero is a protagonist who lacks the characteristics that would make him a hero. Quite simply, anti-heroes rock. Most of them are social outcasts who have no desire for foolish things such as friendship or trust. An anti-hero can be a jerk or even have every characteristic of a villain. But because success wouldn't be possible without their help, they are considered good guys. Due to the fact that anti-heroes are not stupid, they probably don't do anything helpful unless they are paid or unless they are in some fine hurt, or unless they're connected with the plot.
Okay.
So yeah, Axel Foley's probably not an anti-hero.
Yeah, I don't consider him an anti-hero. I'm trying to think now of another 80s movie that, you know,
that does have an anti-hero.
That does have a true anti-hero. Without going,
I think the biggest point is that they do things that are not heroic. They do things that are more selfish, but they're still worth rooting for.
Right.
I'd say
like you're rooting for them, even though, yeah, it is definitely selfish. They don't necessarily have to be doing something bad for the cause of a greater good.
Right.
It is definitely, yeah, selfish I think is the right word. Actually, I'm gonna go with that. They're doing it for their own greater good instead of somebody else's.
So would you say that H.I. McDonough in Raising Arizona is an anti-hero?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because he does lack the characteristics of a hero.
Oh, very much. Very much.
Yeah.
Other than protecting and keeping his wife safe.
He's a weak husband.
He is a weak husband in that sense, but he would still do anything for his wife, which makes him good in a way.
He can't stay out of trouble.
Right. But he can't stay out of trouble. He has bad friends.
Bad judgment.
Bad judgment for sure. Definite bad judgment.
Yep.
So yes, H.I. McDonough is definitely an anti-hero. And even God, what the hell is her name?
Raising Arizona.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, Holly Hunter.
Edwina.
Edwina, that's right.
Yeah.
I know it's and they always call her Ed.
Yes, they always call her Ed.
Because she kind of wears the pants in the family. Right.
Because she's a cop or a former cop.
She's a cop. She's the breadwinner. Right. She's the law-abiding person in the relationship, but she's the one who drives them to kidnap a baby.
Right. Who decides to ultimately break the law.
And here's the sad thing is that the Metascore from Metacritic.com on IMDb is 68 for Raising Arizona. That's insane.
Yes, I'm seeing that now. That is quite low.
That is crazy low for that movie.
That is crazy low. I found it quite hilarious.
It's a great movie. I mean, it's farce. It's got a little bit of a criminal element to it. I'd say, would you say it's more farce or slapstick? I think it's more farce.
It's more farce. I don't think it's slapstick. Definitely not.
But the casting is so good in that movie.
The casting is borderline perfection.
Because Emmett Walsh is in that movie.
Yep. And let's not forget
John
Frances
Goodman,
McDormand, John Goodman, Frances
and
McDormand before she was the Frances McDormand we know now, in a way. And her husband, the man who played her husband, I'm looking at it right now, Sam McMurray.
Yep. And don't forget about Leonard Smalls, Randall Tex Cobb.
Exactly, Randall Tex Cobb. I use the term loosely, but legendary Randall Tex Cobb.
Is he legendary for being an actor or being a wrestler?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. I'm gonna go with more an actor though. More an actor.
Has he acted much lately? I don't know.
You know what? I don't think so. I'm gonna go with no, but I'm looking. Doesn't look like no. Looks like some episodes of Walker, Texas Ranger were his last things.
God, he hadn't done anything in almost 20 years.
Yeah, that's quite sad. Someone needs to bring back Randall Tex Cobb.
He did an episode of Married with Children.
Yeah.
He was in Fletch Lives. He did an episode of MacGyver.
Yep. X-Files. He did an X-Files episode.
He did Moonlighting. He was in Uncommon Valor.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty amazing. He was in Ernest Goes to Jail.
Sorry, I missed that one. I missed all
and
the.
He was also in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Yes, that I do remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't done anything in 20 years. That's crazy.
I wonder why. That sounds like a Quentin Tarantino project to me.
Maybe
bring back Randall Tex Cobb.
Maybe he'll show up in something else one day. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh man. But see.
So going back to the 80s, who are your favorite filmmakers from the 80s?
Filmmaker. I mean, I would say
movies you always go back to, that you constantly find yourself going back to them.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of silly to say Spielberg because that's like
no, it's not. It's not.
Well, it's not silly, but
it's not silly at all.
But I'd like to find somebody that's like not like a duh, you know, like duh Spielberg, you know. I don't know, it makes me want to get up and go look at my collection right now. You know, I don't know if it's like a specific filmmaker.
Yeah.
It's probably more. It's probably just more styles of movies or specific movies, like, you know, like especially with comedies, like Spies Like Us is something I'll watch all the time. Vacation, sure. European Vacation, I'll watch all the time.
Yep.
You know, anything Eddie Murphy, I'll watch all the time. Eddie Murphy in the 80s was probably the funniest thing of that decade.
Yep.
I'm not even like, to me, it's not even a question. Eddie Murphy in comedy ruled the 80s. No question.
Yep.
Like, it's not even close.
Well, I think if you go back to the 80s, you can't really have a conversation about movies in the 1980s without Spielberg, just because he made so many movies. He had the television series.
Yep. Amazing stories.
I also think you can't talk about the 80s without Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
He won two directing Oscars in the 80s.
Yes.
He made a lot of movies, I think, and I would say that his best movie is Wall Street.
I'll concur with that. I
also like Talk Radio.
Talk Radio, I think, is very underrated, and I think people forget about it.
Mm-hmm. I
think Eric Bogosian is great in that.
I know there was a little bit of controversy with John Hughes in the 80s, and but I
John Hughes would be my second. I'll tell you that right now.
But I love his movies. I also like Lauren. I'll go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I think John Hughes basically is the 80s, in my opinion.
I think if you're somebody who came of age in the 1980s, I went to middle school and high school during the 80s.
Yes.
I mean, he's a big figure. And
yeah. I was in elementary and middle school. You're slightly older than me. I have a few years on me.
A few years on you. Yeah, that's about it.
But I consider myself a child of the 80s and still coming of age in the late 80s. I came of age, I believe. But John Hughes still spoke to me, and I think he personifies that decade.
I think you also have to consider Robert Zemeckis.
Okay, yeah.
And then Lawrence Kasdan.
Yeah, Lawrence Kasdan. I might consider Lawrence Kasdan over Zemeckis.
Because Lawrence Kasdan, his first two produced scripts are Empire Strikes Back and Body and Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then he directed Body Heat, and then he directed.
That was a film school special, Body Heat, by the way.
It is
a film school special.
It absolutely is. A friend of mine went to NYU, and one of his writing professors told him that he thought that Body Heat was probably one of the best scripts he'd ever read.
Really? I never actually read that script, but
it's worth a read. I feel like the humidity oozes off the page.
Good analogy.
Yeah, thank you. I try. And I think you also should kind of look beyond the borders of this country too. I mean, you have Akira Kurosawa became more popular in the 80s. I mean, he made a lot of really good movies in the 50s and the 60s, but he really
was my favorite in the 80s for him.
He didn't really come to recognition in this country until he made Kagemusha,
right?
Which came out in '80, and it was I think that won the Golden Palm at Cannes that year.
Yeah,
and then there was Ron.
Yeah, Ron is one of my personal favorites.
Which came out 5 years later. And then one of the last films that he made was an anthology film called Dreams. And then right after that, he was given his honorary Oscar.
His honorary Oscar, right. I remember that. Honorary Oscar.
Yep.
I was like, man, what took so long?
Yeah, and I feel like Krzysztof Kieslowski sort of came of age. But I really feel like, I mean, foreign cinema, at least foreign for this country, it really didn't gather a lot of notice in this country until the 50s when the Academy started honoring films made outside of this country.
Right.
But then when Janus Films started in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Is it Janus or is it Giannis? Is it a soft J?
I don't know.
I always wondered.
I don't know. But
is it jogging or is it yogging? Might be a soft J. Might be a soft J there. I'm not really sure.
But they started in Massachusetts in the late 60s, and they started as a film series, and then they started acquiring films and showing them in art house theaters across this country. And that is what mutated into Criterion.
Yes.
Mutation probably isn't the proper word. They started Criterion as another business.
Right. And our love for Criterion can be a whole other podcast, sir.
I'm not even going there because I own too many of those.
Yes, it's true. We both do, I think. And we're not going to stop, I'm guessing.
No, I won't. I just bought the Cassavetes box set, and
oh my god!
And right now I'm looking at the Ingmar Bergman box set.
I saw that. I saw the Bergman box set.
I think I only own the Seventh Seal, so I'm wondering if I should just go ahead and sell my copy of Seventh Seal and just buy the whole damn thing.
Yeah. That's something to consider. I've definitely sold singles where I've bought in box sets. You know, I've had the luxury to be able to go to Amoeba in Hollywood and sell back some stuff. You know.
Yeah.
So, yes, that Bergman box set is quite tempting.
I mean, that might be one of the best box sets Criterion has ever produced.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I have not seen all of Bergman's movies. I've probably seen.
I haven't either.
6 or 8 of them. I really love Persona. I love Cries and Whispers, and I don't think I've seen Fanny and Alexander all the way through. But I also love Smiles of a Summer Night. I mean, I feel like his strongest work probably was in the 50s and the 60s. And of course, The Seventh Seal and Wild Strawberries.
Yes.
But there was one other movie that came out in the 80s that I love so much that came from Italy, Giuseppe Tornatore's Cinema Paradiso.
Yes. Yep. That did win Best Foreign Language Film, correct?
It did.
Okay, so after all this talk we've had, as far as 80s comedies go, do you have one you can actually single out as being your favorite 80s comedy of all time?
I love so many of them, but I'm just going to go with a popular pick. I'm going to go with Tootsie. Tootsie made $177 million. I actually remember going to see that in the theater as a kid. But I feel like the performances, Sidney Pollack's direction, but I also feel like what the movie has to say about gender.
Yes.
About the media business, and how it's hard. There's a level of ageism that goes with it. I mean, I feel like the movie has so much to say, and it spins it all into a comedy.
Yeah.
And what's most amazing about this movie is that there were at least a dozen screenwriters on this movie.
That seems like too many cooks in the kitchen.
And only 3 of them are credited.
Right. Would you be upset if you were one of the uncredited ones?
For a movie like this, yeah, I would. But
I concur.
And Sidney Pollack is an uncredited writer on this movie, as is Dustin Hoffman. And Dustin Hoffman was also an uncredited writer on Kramer versus Kramer. And he's
not sure I'm aware of that. I'm not sure Dustin Hoffman was.
He sat down with Robert Benton, and they went through and rewrote that script, and Benton offered to get Dustin's name on the script, and he said, "No, it's okay. I don't need that. I'm already the lead of the movie. I don't." And
true.
And Dustin says he regrets not taking it because he would have won another Oscar.
Oh, so. Okay. In hindsight, sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Obviously, there's no fault, and no one could argue. No one could argue with that pick.
Not at all.
My pick would be Beverly Hills Cop, and I say that because, for me personally, Eddie Murphy defined comedy in the 80s. There was nobody better. There was no equal.
Some people would say it was Chevy Chase, but
some people would, but they're not on this podcast, so they can't really argue. But I'm gonna go with Eddie Murphy because, like I said, I think he personified comedy in the 80s. There definitely was no equal. And if you think about what Beverly Hills Cop could have been, it definitely would have been a way different movie. And I don't think it would have been as successful. I think it would have just been another action movie that Sylvester Stallone starred in.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, Eddie Murphy came along, Martin Brest came along, Eddie Murphy brought his stuff to the mix, and it became the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. And at the time. And then Sylvester Stallone went on and made Cobra, which is pretty awesome in its own unique way. I have some love for Cobra, but he chose to make Cobra instead.
Yep.
You know? I still wonder if he secretly regrets not making Beverly Hills Cop. Personally, I think overall, I think the rest of the country and the world thank that he didn't. I think we're all very happy that he didn't make Beverly Hills Cop. So,
well, it says
for me, that's it.
It says a lot about comedy, especially in the 80s. When you look at the 2 top films of 1984, they're both comedies, and they grossed almost $500 million.
Right. And in that time,
in 1984.
Exactly. I was just saying, in that time, that is an astronomical amount of money, especially for a comedy.
I mean, that would be, I don't know what the conversion is on that, but it would be over,
it would be a lot.
It'd be well over $1 billion.
Yes. Yeah, it'd be ridiculously insane. So
I mean, I remember how popular the films were, and I remember going to see. I don't think I got to see Beverly Hills Cop in the theater just because it wasn't R.
mhm.
But I definitely remember going to see Ghostbusters, and
Yes.
I saw that
Yes.
movie multiple times in the theater.
Yeah, I think I saw it twice in the theater. I saw Beverly Hills Cop probably 3 or 4 times because I had to go back. I had to get my Eddie Murphy impersonation down. I had to get my Bronson Pinchot Serge impersonation down, and I got it down. I got my Billy Rosewood down. I got my Gil Hill, Inspector Todd down. Like, there's this. Nobody shows Beverly Hills Cop in a revival. All these revivals we have in Hollywood, ArcLight Presents and American Cinematheque. Beverly Hills Cop is never one of them. I don't know. I need to own a theater so I can just show Beverly Hills Cop when I want to.
Maybe that's what our career goal should be, is to own a repertory theater.
I would fucking love that. That's literally my dream.
But all of these movies do have one common thread, and
Yes.
it goes back to something that Billy Wilder said many years ago. And I love Billy Wilder. I think he's one of the greatest comedic filmmakers ever made.
You do.
Casting is everything. And when
Casting is everything.
And when you hear that, when you hear a writer who wrote some of the most iconic scripts in movie history, and him to say that and he would tell you, and Volker Schlorndorff, a German filmmaker, made a really good documentary interviewing Billy, and it's on YouTube. You can see bits and pieces of it. And
Okay.
I think it's aired on TCM before, but it's worth going on YouTube and looking for some of that. But Billy would say that I guess Volker asked him, said, "Well, would you play yourself in a movie?" He's like, "Oh no, I would never do that. If I'm going to write a part for a director, I would cast an actor to play that part. I would never try to do it myself because I'm not an actor. I don't have that skill. I'm a director. Right. I'm a writer. That's what I do." He said, why would I cast somebody who's not going to do the best job? That person would not be me.
And that's why he goes down as one of the greatest of all time.
He is.
It's simple logic like that.
Yep.
Don't do what you really can't do.
Man's got to
just because you can. He could have done it.
He could have.
And
no one probably would have questioned him. But
exactly, no one would have questioned. But you know what? He knew better.
He did know better. That's exactly what I was going to say.
He knew better.
And on that note, I think we call it a wrap.
I think we call it a wrap, sir. I was just about to say, and on that note.
So everybody, we really appreciate you listening to the pilot episode of When Dudes Met Film. Sometime very soon, you're going to be able to log into whendudesmetfilm.com, where we'll have a blog to support our podcast. But again,
we will
thanks
post
for listening.
each podcast on there as well.
My name is Josh Locklair. I'm in Atlanta.
I'm Damian Vargas here in LA.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for listening, and we will see you next time. Enjoy the movies.